will be Bobby Odhiambo, who is a student leader right here at Kenyatta University, and also our very own Ojwang Mariam. They'll be helping us, delve deeper and dissect everything state of our nation. Before we get into that, I want us to take a look at different newspapers this morning and their headlines, and of course that what will be guiding our discussion this morning on the newspaper review. To set us off, because it's Biashara Tuesday, I'd like for us to begin with Business Daily, and they're talking of Iran war derails talks on the 5.6 billion Kenya tea deal. And remember, there was a committee that was formed to have talks on how to reduce the barriers between Kenya and Iran in terms of the export of the Kenyan tea, and due to the ongoing wars, Israel, United States, Iran, if you've heard of it, it's going to be affecting that deal or derailing it. If not, cancelling it, it's going to be making it take a longer time. And just so to mention, in line with business, the ongoing war between Israel, United States, and Iran, all joined together, is also going to be affecting various businesses, because businesses are majorly controlled by transport, and once transport is paralyzed, you see most of the imports, exports, it's going to be derailed, or it's going to be hindered. And for that matter, business is going to be slowed down worldwide, because this is something that affects various cities, various regions, various countries across the globe. That is going to be affected, and also something that is going to be significantly affected is the price of fuel. And with fuel prices rising, that means there is also a hike in transport prices. And despite, apart from us having a stalemate in the transport sector, we shall also be having a high-priced transport sector. So that is going to be significantly affecting transport, significantly affecting business and trade in different nations across the globe. Also, still on the Business Daily, they're talking of bank profits rise 20% to hit 311 billion Kenyan shillings on lower cost. Another story given prominence is Kenya employs the largest share of its population in agriculture, but generates the lowest returns. This is not just a story of soil quality. And remember, when you're talking about agriculture, it's more of value chain than production. It's more of Kenya is having the highest percentage of its losses from the agricultural produce going bad. Just to give an example, we've recently had a high season of mangoes, and because we lack processing plants and all that, most of them are going bad in markets and all that. So the loss that are occasioned by not having good storage facilities or companies for good processing are major losses, are major drivers of losses in the agricultural sector. This, of course, apart from the value chain where it's supposed to be added value, and also the middlemen in between, who are most of the time we've had cases of farmers complaining that wamenyanyaswa. So that is in agriculture, given prominence on the Business Daily. Another story that is given prominence on the Business Daily: MPs seek power to inspect 80 billion securitized revenues, and also shares trading costs to rise on higher CBSC fee plan. And that is in relation to those who are planning to be buying shares, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, CBSC, that is just the CDS accounts. Prices are going to be rising. At the moment, if you're buying and selling shares, it's at a cost of 100 shillings, at least 100 shillings. So that is expected to be rising. And also another thing that is talked of on the Business Daily, NSSF Tier 2 contributions. That one is also given prominence on the Business Daily. The People Daily this morning is talking of Kenya's broken food security plan. And this is in relation to the ongoing drought situation in different parts of the country. And apart from drought, there's also increased amount of rainfall. Remember, earlier on we had mentioned that the March, April, May rainfall are going to be significantly higher in some regions, and those regions that are experiencing very high rainfall are experiencing, flooding and all that. So that is contributing to a situation where we are having food shortages in the country. Another story on the People Daily, Auditor General land meant for children institution grabbed. And also, as world remembers Wangari Maathai, is Karura at risk again? And talking of Karura, this is in relation to a story that there is hostels for is it KWS or NYS, National Youth Service, hostels that are proposed to be built at Karura Forest. And this is an push and pull between those who are keen on conservation of the environment, and of course this is with the government, which is proposing to have the hostels of the NYS built in Karura Forest. Those stories are given prominence on the People Daily. Moving forward to the Star this morning, they're being political, talking of Rigathi deal, a lifetime or a landmine for Sifuna camp. That story is given prominence on the Star. Another story is hooked to machine hopping for India. This is a health story of Fiona, who is pleading for 9 million for her medical cover to receive treatment in India. Another story still on health, Duale on SHA reforms, fraud crackdown, cancer cover, digital health. That story can be followed through on page 4 and 5 of the Star. Another story on security, gang capital crime, surge in city as cops scramble for answers. That is on the Star. Moving on, Taifa Leo wanasema kwamba masaibu ya Wakenya waliokwama vitani. This is in relation to the ongoing war between Israel and Iran. Of course, the bombing here and there, and now that the transport is halted in different airlines have cancelled their flights. So that is on Taifa Leo. They're talking of Wakenya ni kati ya raia wa kigeni na wenyeji katika mataifa ya Mashariki ya Kati wasioruhusiwa kutoka majumbani mwao hata kurejea katika nchi zao. Hawawezi, kwani safari nyingi za ndege ni marufuku. Hofu ni tele kutokana na mashambulizi ya Iran dhidi ya kambi za jeshi za Amerika katika ukanda huo. Haya yanajiri huku Ruto akionekana kuunga Amerika mkono. And still on the same, remember yesterday the Iranian embassy in Kenya said that Kenya is not at risk of this ongoing war, despite having US Air Force bases in the country. So he assured that Kenya is safe. I don't know if that was a diplomatic statement or indeed that is true. Another story given prominence on Taifa Leo. They're talking of mgogoro wa ndoa ya ODM UDA wa Chacha. Hayo ni taarifa za siasa. Urafiki tata wa ngendo. Hapo ni picha watu watatu imewekwa hapo, Rais William Ruto, Ngeno na Gachagua ambaye sasa anasema alikuwa mwandani wa Ngeno. And this is just a political, I don't know if it's a political talk or if indeed there is truth in it, but there are people who are saying that is a planned death and it's not really something that is an accident. We are yet to find out because investigations are still ongoing. Another story, koti ya zima aliyekosa mchango wa WhatsApp katika taarifa za spoti. Rail waweka ofa mezani kusajili Rodri. Hiyo ni gazeti la Taifa Leo. And also moving on to a different newspaper this morning is The Standard. And Adani is once again making headlines. They're talking of Adani knocking again. And they're saying one of the stormiest issues that shook the Ruto's administration in the aftermath of the Gen Z protest nearly 2 years ago was the plan to lease a key national asset, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, to controversial Indian billionaire Gautam Adani under the guise of upgrading it. Nowadays, after the fresh court session on the matter, members of the opposition claim state operators are hunting for legal loopholes to push Adani back into the deal on JKIA. I don't know. Remember, this administration has been keen on saying that one of the things that it shall be improving is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. So many things going on around Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the public-private partnerships in the country. So that is also a story that has been given prominence on The Standard. The Daily Nation Still on matters security, international security, why Ruto took sides on Iran war as Kenyans trapped in Middle East speak out. That story is given prominence on the Daily Nation. Those are the newspaper that we shall be looking at this morning, of course, on the state of our nation. I want us to move and take a look at what is shaping our weather in different parts of the country and, of course, the traffic situation. Right, it is exactly 32 minutes past the hour, that is past 7 a.m. and I'm looking at different roads leading to Nairobi Central Business District. This morning, as people are heading to town, it is quite a chilly morning, and most people, especially from the western part of the city, have not woken up, because normally I would see large traces of red and yellow, but this morning there are tiny patches. Wale wanatoka Kawangware, Lavington, all the way to Nairobi Arboretum, wale wanatoka Karura, going to Nairobi Central Business District, wale wanatoka kule juu, wale wanatoka Ngong, Galleria kule juu. I'm seeing little, the places I've mentioned, I'm seeing little patches of red. Kutoka kule Galleria, wale wanatoka Ngong Forest, along the around the Junction Mall, wale wanatoka Lavington Kilimani, around Lavington Mall, there are tiny patches of red. So it's moving, but the patches are what we can see as of now. But normal places where we're always expecting traffic, as always, wale wanatoka Nairobi West joining to Mombasa Road, you're going to be staying on the road for quite some time. Wale wanatoka Thika Road going to Nairobi Central Business District, you're going to be staying on the road for quite some time. I mean, kutoka Kasarani all the way to Muthaiga Interchange, you're going to be staying on that road for quite some time. Those using the Eastern Bypass are going to be staying on the road for quite some time. Wale wanaipita Embakasi, wale wanatoka Utawala joining to Mombasa Road, Imara Daima, you're going to be staying on that road for quite some time. Another specific a place that they're going to be staying on the road for quite some time today, ni wale wanatoka Village Market wakienda to Muthaiga as they get to, Karura Forest, going to Parklands. If you're using that route going to town today, you're also going to be staying on that route for quite some time. And also, this is affecting those who are coming. This is just areas around Karura Forest, all roads around Karura Forest. You're going to be staying on the road for quite some time. So that is on the traffic update as of 7:35 a.m. On this third day of March 2025. And looking at different cities in terms of the weather updates, let's begin with Kiambu. Right now, it is 15 degrees Celsius, feels like it, and the temperatures are expected to be rising to 23 degrees Celsius through the day, and precipitation at 40 to 80% from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and it's expected to be raining from 3 p.m. In Nairobi, the rains are expected at around 4 p.m. and right now it is 16 degrees Celsius. Temperatures are expected to be rising to 24 degrees Celsius. And moving on to Eldoret, right now it is 14 degrees Celsius. Temperatures are expected to be rising to 24 degrees Celsius. It is expected to be raining at around 3 p.m. That is at 20 to 70% chances of rainfall from noon to 7 p.m. And moving on to Kisumu, right now it is 19 degrees Celsius. Temperatures are expected to be rising to 25 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is expected at around 6 p.m. That is of 20 to 70% chances of precipitation. And the coastal region, Kilifi, right now it is 26 degrees Celsius. Temperatures are expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius. They're talking of 20 to 40% chances of rainfall from 9 p.m. And finally, the northern part of the country, right now it is at 19 degrees Celsius. Temperatures are expected to be rising to 27 degrees Celsius, and rainfall is expected from around 1 p.m. and that's at 20 to 70% chances of rainfall estimated from 11 to 7 p.m. And according to the Kenya Met Department, the outlook that they've given from today to the 9th of March, rainfall outlook as illustrated, it is expected in the next 7 days, cumulative rainfall rainfall is expected to increase in several parts of the country during the period. Moderate to heavy rainfall with isolated heavy events is likely over the Central Highlands, Lake Victoria Basin, Rift Valley, southeastern lowlands, and coast western, northeastern, and northwestern Kenya. That is on the rainfall outlook. So it's expected to be rising in various parts of the country more than we have witnessed in the last 7 days. In temperature outlook, daytime temperatures, maximum temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius expected over the coast, southeastern lowlands, northeastern and northwestern Kenya. Nighttime temperatures, minimum temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius are likely in the parts of the Central Highlands, Rift Valley and areas near Mount Kilimanjaro. And that is according to the weather outlook of the Kenya Met Department. You should also visit their website to see the weather outlook in your specific area so that you can plan out your day accordingly. So that is on the weather and traffic update. It is exactly 7:39 a.m. and you're just in time for update on the news. And to set us off is a tragic accident where 3 people are feared dead following early morning accident yesterday at Green Park, Mtomawe in Machakos County after 2 trucks collided. The collision sparked a major fire, destroying the vehicles and causing severe traffic congestion along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway. Police officers immediately responded, working to clear the wreckage and restore traffic flow. Several witnesses reported that the accident happened early that morning, that is yesterday, resulting in fatalities and multiple injuries. Emergency teams rescued some survivors while authorities continue investigations into the cause of the crash. Motorists are urged to exercise caution while driving on the busy highway. Now, at the same time, President William Ruto stresses the need to ease traffic congestions and reduce high road accidents, stating that faster completion of new roads and installation of digital cameras at black spots will help in reducing accidents and congestions. Let's get more from our very own Ateng Kanegunda.
Rights and freedoms. And each
President William Ruto today convened a meeting with members of the National Council on Administration of Justice (NCAJ) at State House, Nairobi, to discuss measures aimed at improving road safety and easing traffic flow across the country.
That way, we will make it easy for us to do several things. Number one, we do not need to argue with offenders. The cameras will provide foolproof evidence that they are in breach. Number two, we do not have to go and bother the Chief Justice in court. The fine will be predetermined. When you have committed the offense, you will have a fine on your phone instantly.
During the meeting, the president emphasized the need to enhance traffic management through faster completion of ongoing road projects, expansion of pedestrian walkways, among other interventions.
Deliberate steps are already being taken to confront this challenge, a multi-sectoral approach. And for the first time, a coordinated interagency traffic justice model was successfully piloted during the 2025-2026 festive season under the framework of the National Council on the Administration of Justice. This initiative brought together enforcement, prosecution, and adjudication in a unified and a structured manner.
Chief Justice Martha Koome outlined the judiciary's role in supporting road safety enforcement, announcing the expanded deployment of mobile traffic courts and increased use of digital systems to enable fast handling of traffic-related offences. She also emphasized the use of technology, including highway surveillance cameras, to strengthen enforcement and promote accountability in traffic cases.
We want to assure you that the NCAJ stands ready to lead and coordinate the justice sector and to respond in partnership with the executive and with the legislature to ensure that our laws are modern, our systems are interpolable, our enforcement is firm but fair, and our institutions are accountable. With strong political will, sustained investment, and corrective responsibility.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen detailed government plans to enhance compliance with traffic regulations through instant fines, installation of surveillance cameras at key locations and on public service vehicles, as well as intensified police patrols.
And in our discussion, the answer is digitization and digital enforcement. You have already guided us to have cameras under the C4 project in 6 cities in the country. Nairobi will be ably covered, and a number of the cities, including Mombasa. Again, having cameras all over the place will make sure that these officers are held into account. In addition, having instant fining system that does not require human intervention.
The meeting concluded with a commitment by government agencies to implement coordinated measures aimed at enhancing road safety and improving traffic movement across the country.
Rights and freedoms. And each.
Atenka Negunda, KUTV.
All right, now moving on, Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki has slammed DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, urging him to maintain respect ahead of his tour to Meru region and refrain from what he termed as insults directed at leaders and residents. Speaking to Meru residents after launch of a Meru Level 5 hospital's upgrade to Level 6, Kindiki reminded Gachagua of the Mbeere North by-election, saying it had exposed his political weakness and ended his ambitions there. He asked him not to do the same to Meru residents as they value unity and dignity.
Mimi nasikia kuna watu wana safari hapa sijui siku gani. Nyinyi nani? Wewe nani? Wewe nani? Wewe nani? Ukifika hapa kuja na heshima bwana. Wewe kuja na heshima. Usikuja na madharau. Usikuja na kiherehere. Usikuja na kimbelembele. Sisi hapa hatupendi madharau. Na sisi hatuna shida na mtu yeyote. Bora ukuja na heshima. Useme mambo yako. Alafu kwende. Kwa sababu sisi sio watu ya fujo. Lakini hiyo madharau ukiendelea nayo, ukikataa kuachana na hiyo tabia ya matusi, wewe tutakuaibisha bwana. Wewe nani wewe? Wewe nani?
Now, still on politics, a section of university leaders from the coastal region have declared their firm support for the leadership of the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, and the broad-based government arrangement between President William Ruto and the ODM party. The leaders have condemned those who oppose the broad-based government, stating that they are undermining the work of the president, as Patricia Alex now reports.
Speaking to journalists after a joint meeting held in Voi, the student leaders from Taita Taveta University urged political actors to refrain from dragging young people into political rivals. The leaders expressed their backing for the cooperation between the UDA and ODM, describing the partnership as vital for national stability and development.
Kile ambacho sisi tunaahidi ni kwamba sisi kama vijana ambao ndio wengi katika taifa la Kenya, hatutoruhusu au kuruhusu kiongozi yeyote kututumia vibaya kwa manufaa yake ya kibinafsi, alafu sisi ndio tunaingia street kukufa. Si ni namna hiyo.
They emphasized that the youth should not be used as a tool in political contest, warning that young people often bear the brunt of unrest during protests. Outgoing Taita Taveta students President Stephen were reading a joint statement, accused certain political figures of attempting to destabilize ODM and undermine the working relationship between President Ruto and the party.
We will not condone these schemers. We know you and your agenda is to scatter the ODM party and more of the broad-based working arrangement between President Ruto and ODM.
Incoming Taita Taveta University President Francis Newton questioned the political messaging being projected by leaders who oppose the cooperation, asking what image they intend to portray. He reiterated their endorsement of President Ruto's leadership and his future political ambitions.
Unatuonyesha picha gani mkiwa katika uongozi? Sisi kama viongozi tunakuja tunakashifu hiyo na tunakataa. Sasa hiyo ndio maana tunasema Ruto ni two-term.
The leaders also called on young people to register in large numbers as voters ahead of the 2027 general elections and participate by electing leaders committed to growth. They maintain that constructive politics remains the most effective way for young people to influence governance and secure long-term development. Patricia Alex for KUTV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Patricia. Now, President William Ruto on Monday condoled with the family of the late Emurua decade Member of Parliament Johanna Anyango during a visit to the family's residence in Karen, Nairobi. Anyango died alongside 5 others in a helicopter crash on Saturday in Mosop constituency, Nandi County. In an update, the family indicated that the late Member of Parliament will be buried this Friday.
I am sharing this moment with you. It is a difficult moment for the family, for the people of Emurua Digir, and for his friends. But I want to assure you that God is in control. Nothing happens that takes God by surprise. So we will be here. God will lead us into doing the right things. Ngeno's family, his wife, is somebody I've come to know. I've been to her home in Emurua Digir. And I know she's explained to me what needs to be done, and it will be done, so that we can carry on the legacy of our brother Ngeno and that of the family. And to the people of Emurua Digir, I want to tell them that they will not be orphans. We will be there.
Because we represent the people of Emurua Digir. We understand the role that the late Honorable Ngeno played in making sure that he fights for the rights of the Kipsigis of Narok. The people of Narok will definitely miss him. And I just want to assure you, Your Excellency, that we are speaking one language. There's no Kipsigis, there's no Maasai, there's one people of Narok in Narok County.
Moving on, Jomvu Member of Parliament, Badi Twalib has commended security officers for maintaining peace and stability in the area since the beginning of Ramadan, noting that no incidents of insecurity have been reported as residents continue with their night prayers. Meanwhile, thousands of Muslim faithful gathered in Mombasa for a special iftar to mark the completion of the first 10 days of the holy month of Ramadan. According to the organizers, the main objective is to foster unity and support the less fortunate in society. Akida Kasim reports.
10 days of fasting, prayer and meditation, 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 Jomvu MP Badi Twalib praised security agencies for their efforts in ensuring peace and stability in the area since the start of the holy month of Ramadan.
FAO are one of the most reliable vehicles coming from the Chinese market, and they've really captured the East African market, and we really appreciate.
Speaking during the launch of a new Assistant Chief's office in Buiwachapa area, Jomvuku Ward, the MP said he had not received any reports of worshippers being disrupted during night prayers, a situation that has enabled them to fully participate in Tarawih prayers.
My plea to the national government is let us try and facilitate and bring an enabling environment to such kind of investments in our country, to make sure that we are able to give them a platform that makes them be very competitive across the East African nation.
At the same time, Muslim faithful in Mombasa marked the completion of the first 10 days of Ramadan in a unique way through communal iftar events organized in different parts of the city.
Being taken by
The faithful used the opportunity to bring together both Muslims and non-Muslims, sharing meals as a sign of unity and promoting cohesion among Kenyans. In a remarkable scene, some participants spread mats and sheets in the middle of Pembe Zandovu Road to break their fast together, demonstrating Islamic values of solidarity and caring for the less fortunate in the society.
And we are really...
At the same time, some participants called on the government to address challenges facing citizens and business owners by reducing taxes across various sectors of the economy.
And we are really...
According to the organizers, the communal iftar aims to bring people together, strengthening social cohesion and support the underprivileged members of the society. Akida Kasim, KUTV.
Thank you, Kasim. Now, the Embassy of the Islamic Republic of Iran in Kenya, through its ambassador, Ali Golampo, has assured Kenya that Iran will not direct its missiles towards the country, stating that Kenya does not host a United States military facility capable of launching an attack against Iran. And as Rajab Juma details in the following report, the embassy also condemned the military strikes carried out by the United States in collaboration with Israel against Iranian targets, describing the action as a violation of
law and international peace and security and orders.
Pledging retaliation.
Law and international peace and security and orders.
Pledging retaliation, the embassy also urged the United Nations Security Council to convene an emergency meeting and take immediate action to contain the situation, while calling on the international community to condemn the attacks.
To the United States and the Israeli regime, I say, you shall bear full and direct responsibility for all ensuing consequences. You have opened a door that you cannot close. To the United Nations Security Council, I demand, convene immediately, take binding action, halt this aggression, uphold your own charter before it becomes a worthless document.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto called for restraint and diplomatic engagement to prevent further escalation of the conflict. He emphasized the importance of respecting the sovereignty of independent states and the need for a peaceful resolution to safeguard civilians and regional stability. The government of Kenya has advised Kenyans living in the Middle East to remain cautious and follow guidance from Kenyan diplomatic missions in the affected countries as the situation continues to be closely monitored. Meanwhile, Kenya Airways has suspended its flights to Dubai and Sharjah until further notice. Rajab Juma, KUTV.
Thank you, Rajab. Now, moving on, Kenya's government is fully prepared to tackle the ongoing flood crisis caused by heavy rains. This is according to the Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku, who assured those affected of timely aid for displaced families. The CS, however, called on Kenyans in flood-prone areas to be cautious.
Amid the ongoing floods across the country, Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has assured the nation that the government is fully prepared to address the flooding crisis resulting from the persistent heavy rainfall.
iko wakati wa mvua kwa sasa, and there are likely to be floods in different corners of the republic. Kuna uwezekano ya kuwa na mafuriko.
With concerns mounting over river flooding and displaced families, Ruku stated that the government has established emergency response systems to ensure timely assistance reaches affected families.
Mimi kama waziri ambaye anasimamia kitengo ya special program ambaye inaangalia maneno ya mafuriko, serikali yetu ya Kenya iko tayari, imejiandaa kuhakikisha kwamba wale wote wa Kenya wote, Tana River, Migori, kona yote ya nchi yetu ya Kenya ambao wanaweza athirika na mafuriko, serikali ya Mheshimiwa Rais iko chonjo, imejiandaa ya kusaidia Wakenya wale ambao wanaweza athirika na mafuriko.
Speaking in Embu County, the Public Service CS urged citizens to exercise caution, particularly those residing in flood-prone areas, warning residents against attempting to cross swollen rivers, noting that many lives are lost each year in preventable accidents during periods of heavy rain.
Lakini vile vile tunatoa wito kwa wananchi wote wa Kenya. Jameni, mvua ikinyesha mingi, maji kuwe mingi, frike, tunjiadhari, tusije tukasombwa na maji, tuhakikishe kwamba we are taking care of ourselves.
Ruku also emphasized the continued collaboration between the government and religious organizations, stating that churches play a vital role in reaching vulnerable families at the grassroots level, highlighting that the partnership.
Kwa hivyo sio maneno ya jaa peke yake, lakini vile vile maneno ya mafuriko ambayo inaweza tokana na hii mvua ambayo inaendelea. Tuko chonjo, Mheshimiwa Rais ameweka pesa na amenunua vifaa ya kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wote wale wataathirika, serikali itawashikilia. Hiyo yote ni bidii, ni kujituma na mapenzi ya Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Atenka Negunda, KUTV.
Now, the government has been urged to create a more enabling business environment, including lowering select taxes to support local motor vehicle assembly and accelerate job creation in the country. This comes as the state rolls out the national automotive policy aimed at positioning Kenya as a regional automotive hub.
Industry players say supportive policies and affordable financing are critical to unlocking growth in the automotive sector and strengthening Kenya's manufacturing base. Stakeholders note that assembling vehicles locally using completely knocked down and semi-knocked down kits helps reduce freight costs and duties, making vehicles more affordable for businesses.
FAW are one of the most reliable vehicles coming from the Chinese market, and they've really captured the East African market, and we really appreciate.
Speaking during an iftar dinner hosted by Trans-Africa Motors Limited in Mombasa, Kenya, National Chambers of Commerce and Industry Mombasa Chapter Chairman Abdul Jamal said improved policies would attract investors. The government is currently considering a 13 billion shilling affordable credit facility to support businesses across the automotive value chain, alongside incentives such as the duty remission scheme to encourage local value addition through importation of vehicle components instead of fully built units.
My plea to the national government is let us try and facilitate and bring an enabling environment to such kind of investments in our country, to make sure that we are able to give them a platform that makes them be very competitive across the East African nation.
Industry players now hope that continued policy support under the National Automotive Policy will unlock investment, expand local assembly, and position Kenya as a competitive automotive hub in the region. Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
Now, in healthcare, Mombasa Governor Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir has launched a healthcare program aimed at improving patient care, combating corruption, and reducing congestion at Mombasa hospitals. This is following recent controversy regarding the death of Ali Kibwanagad, to the Mvita Member of Parliament who succumbed to death due to an alleged irregularities at the Coast General Teaching and Referral Hospital.
In a bid to improve the image of health sector in Mombasa County, Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir officially launched a healthcare service program for patients, including measures to fight corruption, among other reforms. This follows an incident that sparked public debate regarding the attentiveness of healthcare workers at the Coast Teaching and Referral Hospital. Speaking during the launch, Governor Nasir banned the detention of patients in hospital over unpaid medical bills and ordered the immediate release of all bodies that were being held in the hospital mortuary. Additionally, granting a 7-day free storage period for bodies to facilitate timely burials and prevent overcrowding.
A mother has been admitted. A mother has gone and given birth. But because someone somewhere decided that, the issue of registering this person is vital or not vital enough, so that person then ends up not being claimed for by SHA, and then a hospital decides to detain. If the number of patients in the hospital has reached its optimum, the system should not even allow anyone else to be admitted. The reason why you end up seeing people now sharing beds, shameful.
Following the recent issue that arose at the hospital, the governor confirmed that the chief executive officer of the Teaching and Referral Hospital, Ikbar Handwala, had opted to resign and would be reassigned to other duties within the health department.
As one of the oldest, actually the CEO has been the only CEO for Coast General Hospital. And he has opted to resign from his position. The county secretary is working on those formalities. And being a permanent and pensionable employee, considering that this report clears his name, he'll be given another role, maybe not managing a hospital, but another role. And with that in place, the board of Coast General will be tasked with working with the Public Service Board and to immediately advertise for a new CEO of Coast General Hospitals. If a patient comes into a hospital, there will be a toll-free number, 24 hours, 1599. You call that number, 1599. It will give you an option. Do you want health? Is it fire? Is it any other department that you want? When you press 1599 and you press 1, it is already active. You will be taken to the Department of Health and you will be asked. We will now have from the governor's office straight to the patient what is the issues that they have, and we will now be able to be there.
Furthermore, the residents were asked to register for the Social Health Authority SHA insurance scheme, as the hospital management directed to use the Facility Improvement Fund to settle the bills of patients who are not registered with SHA.
The first thing that someone needs to be asked when they come in, do you or are you registered with SHA? So that when the time comes for them to be discharged, it is better for us to be able to deal with the debt with SHA than to start mishandling and to start detaining patients. In the event that a patient does not have that SHA cover, the Facility Improvement Fund, which was signed as law nationally, which we customized and made it a local legislation in Mombasa, Facility Improvement Fund is equally to ensure that every facility strives to make sure that we have universal health in their right vicinity.
According to Governor Nasir, the new system is expected to help address emergency cases and improve services for patients from the county as well as neighboring counties. Oching Cynthia, KUTV.
All right, now that brings us to the end of news updates this morning. We will be taking a break, and when we come back, we shall be talking about a range of issues, including real estate investment, strategy, risk, smart decision making. Stay tuned for that coming up after the break.
Alhamdulillah, tumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu Azza wa Jalla, ameweza kutujalia tena mwaka huu, mwaka 2026 kuingiliwa na mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhan, mwezi wa baraka, mwezi wa neema, mwezi wa mambo teletele ambayo kwamba tukiyashika basi tutafaulu. Mwenyezi Mungu atujalie tuweze kukubaliwa katika Ramadhani hii. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kila safari huanza kwa hatua moja. Bila shaka, dira ya Boresha Kilimo sasa imepata sura mpya. Boresha Kilimo si kipindi tu, bali ni darasa la vitendo kwa wakulima. Lengo kuu, mavuno bora na tija kwa jamii.
Na ukikaa nasi basi utaboresha kilimo.
Hapa tutakupakulia maarifa atakotia ladha ya kisukari kwenye mazao yako, tukitofautisha punje na mpunga.
Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
Kuanzia maandalizi ya shamba, mbinu za teknolojia ya kisasa hadi sokoni, usikose kutazama Boresha Kilimo.
Ukitaka kujua haya usipime kipimo.
Ungana nami na hodha wako Akida Kasim kila siku ya Jumamosi saa 6:30 mchana na Jumanne asubuhi, nikikuletea shajara kamili za wakulima na suluhisho mashinani.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa, kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
Kumbuka, ukipanda pantosha utavuna pankwisha.
I'm going for the tall one. His legs look perfect for a good itch.
I don't know. I think I have a fever and I don't have any energy.
Yeah, like there's a war going on inside me.
It has to be the pond. Ponds, rivers, and we will keep snails inside them to show how people get sick.
Yeah, and we'll add pictures of safe water too.
Unsafe, don't jump inside. Stay safe and let adults guide. Snails bring danger, don't you see? Safe water keeps you healthy. Bilharzia free.
Ninakukaribisha rasmi kwenye Mitindo ya Kipwani, kipindi kinachokuza utamaduni wa Kipwani, nikikuletea mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja na wataalamu, vyakula vilivyopikwa na kukorombezwa, viungo mwake vya Kipwani, ngoma zetu za asilia za Kimijikenda, bila kusahau tarabu na chakacha. Yaani wanawake Uswahilini watakuwa wakinengua na kuzungusha viuno kama panga boy za trekta ndani ya Mitindo ya Kipwani KUTV, ukiletewa moja kwa moja kutoka Salama Bling Beach Resort kila Jumamosi saa 10 jioni na Jumapili saa 4 usiku, ukiwa nami mtamu wako zaidi ya asali. Mimi naitwa Waridi Tamu. Mpenzi mtazamaji, usipitwe na matamu.
Ari na fahari ninayo kukujuza habari, sio mara moja wala mara mbili, bali siku zote. Daima dawamu, runinga ya KU inazama na kuzuka. Kuanzia mwambao hadi mashinani, tunachimba mizizi ya habari kukuletea yanayojiri. Na katika ulingo wa kisiasa,
William Samoei Ruto,
tunachambua mbivu na mbichi, tukiweka yote paruanja yanayokuhusu wewe katika jamii. Mtazamaji, una kipaji cha kuvikwa taji? Bila shaka runinga ya KU tutakuvika taji, na wala sio kilemba cha ukoka, tukiangazia kipaji chako.
Usikose kuungana nami na odha wako wa Kidakasim kila siku ya Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa, tukiweka yote paruanja. Daima ukiwa nami ni Nadra Chombo kuenda Mrama.
And I am here today as a judge for Health Prize here at Kenyatta University. Young people presenting their startup ideas, competing for $1 million at the global stage. So really exciting. We've got a bunch of people here, a lot of innovators who are really excited about the idea. My background is tech. I work in the tech ecosystem for the last 20 years with a bunch of companies across Africa. So my role here is essentially to understand and to identify the innovations that are worth taking to the global scale. So really excited to be here. And we've seen a bunch of them. We've seen some great innovations from the young people who have presented today. My message to the young people, this is Africa. We do have some constraints. Do not think about copy-pasting the Silicon Valley model. When you're thinking about Africa and innovations for Africa, our context is very unique. We have limited internet access. We do not all have mobile connectivity through mobile phones, and not all of us speak English. So the context of the innovation matters. And so I am here as well to be able to see who is able to present an innovation that is collectively solving for Africa and not necessarily for the West. So that's my message for the young people. Africa's context matters. So build for Africa.
Okay, so just out of that, what are some of the challenges or awards and some of the things that the students are doing right?
What are some of them?
The things that the students are doing right in innovation.
They're not doing right?
Yeah.
They're not doing right. I wouldn't say not doing right. I think when you think about a business model, you have to understand that you have to make money. And so when you have a startup, you have to think about that startup as from day one, where will you make your money from? And a lot of the ideas that we've had today are still in the inception phase. They're still piloting, they're still testing it out. Nothing is ready for the production or to the market yet, so there's a bit of a gap there. The other thing is as well, if you're thinking about distribution, you're thinking about production, you're thinking about some of the ideas I've had around is you're building 3 different businesses in one. And that's usually very complicated. And sometimes they don't understand that. You have a hardware business, so you have to do manufacturing. You're building an app, so then you have to connect that app to the system. You're trying to find customers. Those are too many things you're doing at once. And some of these business ideas are just too complex. They require so much capital, it's not viable to actually do them, right? So there's also that being realistic with what it is that you're building as a startup. I think that's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And my name is Brenda Rombo, and I come from an organization that is called Be the Engineer. I am the founder and the CEO. And I'm really excited and glad to be here today at the Health Prize KU chapter. The first half of the session has been very impressive. We've seen great ideas and projects from the students, innovations that have come up trying to solve the problems that you're facing as a society, as a country, and even as a continent. What I would say I expect from the winning pitch today is a solution that is going to solve our daily problems, and also to show scalability and how it's going to impact the society, and if the solution is scalable. So how easy and scalable is it in the future, apart from the funding that they're going to get when they win this prize, and also a strong team. I would want to see a strong, well-coordinated, well-balanced team that has, I would say, all the talent and all the expertise that is required for the idea or the solution to hit the market. Something else is, I would also be glad to see a team that comes up with systems and structures. You know, people, how are they going to manage people, the community, the society around them, their employees, the expertise. So I would love to see such kind of a team and pitch, and I would say an idea coming up as the winners of the Halt Prize KU chapter. Yeah, so may the best team win.
Okay, so what message, away from that, what message can you give the young innovators?
I would encourage them to be very open and flexible, and they should be, I would say, prepared at all times, because every day we face challenges in life, and your business is just one challenge away. You don't have to think so hard and do something so difficult. Just look at the challenge you're facing, your friend, your colleague, your parent, or just the community around you, and try and bridge that gap with the education that you're getting, with the, I would say, the information that is out there. We have a lot of information out there in various platforms, you know, YouTube. The world is not flat. You can get so much information out there. So bridge the gap with the education, the information, and not the challenge that you're facing, and then try and come up with a solution. So all businesses are always trying to solve a solution. So the question is, will people buy it? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Alvin Kiprotich. I'm a student at KU here on my final year pursuing computer science, and I'm the current Halt Prize campus director. So I'm the one in charge of organizing the event here at Kenyatta University. So Halt Prize is a global organization that initiates competition from local level to international global stage, and at that point where if you succeed to get that point, that's when you win a cash prize of $1 million. And the initiative has been there for a while, and actually we were lucky. In 2022 we had a team that won called the Kobana, and they emerged the winner. So we are looking forward to see this also being the Kenyatta University students being part of the same, and also we are really passionate to ensure that those students who have ideas but don't know how actually to actualize it can be able to get to a point where they realize actually it's really workable. So we are really glad, and actually seeing so many teams participating is such a good thing, from different schools, engineering, computing, because it's open to all levels, either in it doesn't have to be technical, but a solution, as long as you're solving problem, that's what is needed in Halt Prize. So yes, we are looking forward to CKU also being part of this, the administration in support of such initiatives, so that we have easy mobilization, access of resources. You understand sometimes competition take more an entire day, so a resource will be very valuable in ensuring this facilitation, and that will be very much valuable to ensure that there is frequent workshops even before having the final competition. Yes.
Okay, so what is your ask for the government or the stakeholders to come through for this?
Not just as a Halt Prize, but there is need for continued initiative to push students to present and show their capabilities, because some are very capable but they don't have the platform, they are not aware. But if there's a push and a drive to ensure that there's continued mobilization and information to the youth, I think this is a great opportunity for startups to come up and solutions coming up for problems in our societies.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Claire Mboikanya. I'm here for Health Prize. Our idea is called Mizizi. We discovered that many of our youth are not connected to their cultural heritage. Like you will interview a person, a youth person, they don't know their mother tongue, but they know English and Kiswahili well. They don't know where they came from, they don't know the stories of their people. They can hear, but they cannot speak their language. So that's where our idea was born from, Mizizi, a digital archive where we store living stories, oral living stories from our elders, community-appointed custodians. They give us the knowledge, we preserve it, and then youth and communities can learn from that knowledge and thereby integrate more with their cultural heritage.
Okay, so who will benefit most from our solution?
Youth will benefit most from our solution. Culture is important. Itakatiwa. Okay. Kuna hii saying ya culture, mwenye hana culture anakonga. Nakonga mwenye mana mkosa kabila ni mtumwa. We can't be living in Kenya here without knowing our cultural heritage. Yet we know a white man's language and languages that were brought to us, but we don't know our own languages, don't know our own history. Yeah, so our youth benefit the most from us. We should not let our culture die with us or our parents and our grandparents. We should continue our culture. Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the challenges you go through in the organization?
One major challenge is actually the collection of this data because, as I said, our culture is dying. So many people who actually know in depth about certain cultures, some indigenous cultures, some languages are actually dying, and we don't know how to access these people. Most of them are dead. The ones who are there, they don't know, they barely know anything. So it's very difficult to access the knowledge. But yeah, that's one major challenge. Now that's another problem. I don't speak. I hear my language. I don't speak it because I'm born Tao. I've never lived in Ushago for more than 1 week in my life. My parents speak to me in Kiswahili or English, even though they know Kikuyu.
So we're bringing ideas that will not that will help people, but you don't believe it will help.
It will help me. Yeah.
Your parents,
Shida ni I don't have free access to that knowledge. I believe if I had lived with my grandfather, I'm not that exposed, and this Mizizi will bring exposure to people. Yeah.
Okay, hi, my name is Priscilla. I'm in charge of finance in our project called Food for Comrade. So what is Food for Comrade? It's a project whereby we are solving the crisis of campus hunger by involving both the parents and the students. So we have a model whereby we have the parents on board and students on board. Sometimes the parents, they send upkeep money to the students, but due to students not being financially, they don't have the financial awareness, they end up misspending the upkeep money. Sometimes the parents don't send the money, they don't have the money. So in our project, the parents can also get credit. In case you don't have money to send to your child in campus, you can get quick credit. We are partnering with banks and circles. And then for the vulnerable students, they are our beneficiaries. They get meals and foodstuffs and other materials at subsidized prices with our partners, which are the Shop Okoa.
Okay, so who are the people who will benefit most from your
Okay, from our project, the people who will benefit most are both the parents and the students, the campus students. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you go through during?
Well, so far we've piloted our program, and I can say the major challenge is finding people who are really vulnerable. You know, nowadays people may tend to want free things. So if you hear somewhere where you'll be given some money more oftenly to cater for your upkeep, you run there. So that's a challenge, but we've tried to navigate it using very strict onboarding measures. Yeah.
What can you tell the stakeholders or the government?
I can. Okay. My call to stakeholders is that campus hunger is a real menace and it needs to be addressed, because we find that most students, they drop out of school not because of lack of tuition or other hindrances, but campus hunger or lack of upkeep. So they are forced to trade their studies by getting a part-time job, and as time goes by, you find that they are more consumed to the job than their coursework, and they end up dropping. That is why we have a lot of career students, people who never graduate. They've been campuses for years and years and years. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So in this case, it is a way that she can afford to buy meals. But
student innovators at Kenyatta University today competed in the HALT Prize KU edition, pitching finals presentations, presenting business ideas, and addressing social and environmental issues. The winning team is expected to earn a spot at the national level of the Global Entrepreneurship Challenge. Brenda Rombo, founder and CEO of Be the Engineer, and a judge praised the students' creativity, urging them to stay persistent, embrace challenges, and turn their innovative ideas into impactful solutions for society and the environment.
Every day we face challenges in life, and your business is just one challenge away. You don't have to think so hard and do something so difficult. Just look at the challenge you're facing, your friend, your colleague, your parents, or just the community around you, and try and bridge that gap with the education that you're getting, with the, I would say, the information that is out there. We have a lot of information out there in various platforms, you know, YouTube. The world is not flat. You can get so much information out there.
Judge Timothy Laku highlighted Africa's unique context, encouraging students to create innovative solutions tailored to local challenges, emphasizing the importance of leveraging regional opportunities to drive meaningful social and environmental change.
My message to the young people: this is Africa. We do have some constraints. Do not think about copy-pasting the Silicon Valley model when you're thinking about Africa and innovations for Africa. Our context is very unique. We have limited internet access. We do not all have mobile connectivity through mobile phones, and not all of us speak English. So the context of the innovation matters, and so I am here as well to be able to see who is able to present an innovation that is collectively solving for Africa.
Alvin Kiprotich, head of HALT Prize KU, praised the competing teams for their innovative ideas and commitment, emphasizing how the competition nurtures young entrepreneurs to tackle pressing social and environmental issues effectively.
So we are really glad, and actually seeing so many teams participating is such a good thing, from different schools, engineering, computing, because it's open to all levels, either in it doesn't have to be technical, but a solution, as long as you're solving problem, that's what is needed in HALT Prize. So yes, we are looking forward to see KU also being part of this, the administration in support of such initiatives.
Mukami Kimathi, finance manager for the Food for Comrade project, called on the government and stakeholders to invest in campus food security programs, emphasizing collaboration to address student hunger and promote academic success.
My call to stakeholders is that campus hunger is a real menace and it needs to be addressed, because we find that most students, they drop out of school not because of lack of tuition or other hindrances, but campus hunger or lack of upkeep. So they are forced to trade their studies by getting a
a part-time job, and as time goes by, you find that they are more consumed with the job than their coursework, and they end up dropping.
Claire Kangea from the Mizizi project, which aids people struggling to communicate in their native languages, highlighted the critical role of culture in innovation while acknowledging challenges in data collection for effective community impact.
One major challenge is actually the collection of this data because, as I said, our culture is dying. So many people who actually know in depth about certain cultures, some indigenous cultures, some languages are actually dying, and we don't know how to access these people. Most of them are dead. The ones who are there, they don't know, they barely know anything. So it's very difficult to access the knowledge.
The HALT Prize KU edition showcased student innovation, highlighting solutions addressing social, environmental, and cultural challenges effectively. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
Thank you so much, Edna, for that report. And if you've heard something that is very critical on that report, is that student hunger is killing so many dreams in campuses. I don't know what we should be doing as a nation to encourage or to bolster student entrepreneurship in different sectors, making it easy for them. Because on this show, we've had talks with different youths or different young people in different fields who are saying it's very difficult for them to move their way through businesses. And you know, all these regimes, e-teams is there in place. Some of them don't even understand how that works. And generally, getting into businesses is a challenge for them. That is something that I think we should be addressing. And of course, with the partnerships with TVETs and the national governments in trying to build sustainable careers, I hope that will make a difference. At this point, right here on Biashara Tuesday, I want us to take a look at what happened before on stimulating sustainable entrepreneurship in scientists. This is something that we are really focused on, ensuring that everything that we do that is business related, entrepreneurial related, is sustainable. At this point, let's take a look at that report.
Kenyatta University, in collaboration with Lancaster University, is making significant strides in promoting gender equality and employability through entrepreneurship in STEM. This initiative is supported by the British Council and the British Academy under the Gender Equality for Employability through Entrepreneurship in STEM GEEES project and the International Career Writing Program ICWP. The GEES project, funded by the British Council, focuses on integrating entrepreneurship in STEM curricula and developing an inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystem. It includes training sessions, mentorship programs, and business idea development, culminating in a pitching competition where students are awarded cash prizes and Lancaster University branded gifts. According to Professor Caroline Thurua, DVC Research, Innovation and Outreach at Kenyatta University, entrepreneurial thinking is essential for students and faculty across various departments.
What we're looking forward to is having more students involved in this project, to be able to work on projects and come up with entrepreneurial, to think of projects that they can solve. So actually, in the past few weeks, we've had about 100 students who have participated. And what we're looking forward to is that we can have more students within the university participating in this program. And therefore, where possible, it can actually expand to all our students having such an opportunity to be trained on entrepreneurial thinking and working together to solve solutions and propose the way forward. The same thing with our staff. We would want to have more staff going through programs like this so that their approach to teaching can be very innovative and entrepreneurial. And therefore, if it can, this has focused on some faculty, not all, and therefore if it can expand to more staff in various departments, I think this would be very valuable.
Meanwhile, Professor Kirk Simple, Director of International Research at Lancaster University, underscores the critical role of gender equality in driving transformative change within education and employment sectors.
The issue of gender inequality is an issue in sub-Saharan Africa and university sector, but it's also an issue in the British university sector as well. So when you look at the demographic of males to females in academia, it's traditionally been dominated by males. The same thing applies here. So we saw this as a real opportunity to try and change it. Okay, what we are about with our collaborations is about effecting change for the better for the environment, for the better for society, for the better of the economy. And for me, gender equality is absolutely critical to the success of that change.
The ICWP, funded by the British Academy, is a 2-year project operating in 6 countries, including Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Senegal, Niger, and Mali. The program enhances academic career development through interactive workshops focusing on writing for publication, career coaching, and research collaboration. Dr. Akanimo Odon, African advisor for Lancaster University, highlights how International Career Writing Program, ICWP, bridges the gap between academic publications and social impact, equipping researchers with critical skills to advance their careers.
It increases the capacity for especially early career researchers to think about publication as a way of promotion of their work and output. It therefore means that beyond just the standard traditional publication of papers as a way to promote their output, you can also consider other non-scientific, in some sense, publications or output or communication outputs beyond just publishing papers. So like LinkedIn posts, publishing articles, writing policy briefs, this becomes crucial. Because at the end of the day, what you're trying to achieve is to get folks outside the academic circle to also try and connect with what you're trying to achieve, especially if you're trying to influence and impact society.
Currently, 9 universities are participating in the GEEES and ICWP projects, with more institutions expected to join in the future as they work towards fostering an entrepreneurial mindset among students and staff.
Now, we have a number of universities participating in Kenya as well, and it would be good to have even more universities participating. We've had about 9 in this phase, so looking forward to see it expand to other universities as well.
So for today, for example, you look in the room and males were very much the minority here. It was absolutely dominated by our female colleagues, which is absolutely fantastic. So that's a sort of almost like a baseline. But it's what happens from here moving forward that's really important. So there was some discussion about male to female undergraduates earlier on today and how there seemed to be a lack of success with female students. We need to change that, okay? And that also progresses into our academic communities, where we should be looking to support the employment and the development of our female colleagues within the university sector as well. So success would look like increasing the number of female students who are graduating with scientific and technical degrees, but also the increase in the number and the balance between males and females in the academic community. And in fact, what we're starting to see now is that at the highest levels, there are more and more senior women appointed. So the DVC for Kenyatta is a lady who I've known a long time now. You now have a female VC, and we're starting to see this pattern emerge in other universities, not only in Kenya but in other countries in sub-Saharan Africa as well.
It's more than just clothes. It's a statement, a feeling. An art form, a way to express yourself, a reflection of who you are. It's Fashion Diaries. Join me, Ashley Asachi, every Monday from 8 p.m. as we bring you Kenya's latest trends, emerging fashion designers, glamorous fashion events, runway shows, red carpet events, and so much more. Fashion Diaries, unleashing your inner fashionista.
Gets busy, but your well-being is of great importance. At KUTV's Focus on Health, we cut through the clutter, bringing you expert advice to keep you well-informed for your well-being and that of your family. Every Thursday, 7:30 p.m., join me, Yvonne Kemuma, as we bring you health and wellness right at home.
Miti miti, panda panda, miti miti. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On Earth Check, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of Earth Check. Welcome.
Imagine a world where you are empowered to take charge of your health, where you are well informed about the latest advancements in healthcare and understand the policies that impact your well-being.
Get ready to take charge of matters your health as we bring you a blend of weekly health features that engage professionals from across various medical fields.
When do you decide as a patient, do I need to go see the doctor? We are at a stage where we are seeing all this manner of chronic illnesses and we wait until we get a disease and then is when we go ahead.
From the most mundane to the complexities that perhaps seem overwhelming, we got you covered.
In terms of the factors that might be attributed, there are hereditary factors that means it could be genetic, so that's one factor. But there are other factors as well, like nutritional deficiencies. So some vitamins such as folate have been identified to be a factor in those. So
our mission is to break down intricate health topics into understandable and actionable insights. Join me, Yvonne Kemuma, every Wednesday 9 p.m. on KUTV's News at 9, where your health is our priority. to embark on a journey into the exciting world of technology as we uncover the latest trends, interview top thought leaders, and dive deep into the world of tech like never before.
Currently, we are facing the challenge in terms of finance. It requires one to move from different counties because we really need a large data set for our model to be more accurate.
In this new and exciting series of the Technovation Show, join me, Yvonne Kimuma, every Monday, 8:30 p.m. for a fun and thrilling experience as we explore the cutting-edge developments, meet visionaries driving change.
Somebody who is in the underground mine doesn't know the presence of those gases. So there are a lot of gases involved. There is methane, there is carbon monoxide, and there's also hydrogen sulfide. These gases actually, they are very dangerous and they're very toxic.
And discover the endless possibilities of the tech world.
All right, welcome back. And when we are seated, it's about in-depth discussion. Apologies for those who are expecting real estate investment talks. Frequent broadcast right here on Biashara Tuesday. But at this point, I'm joined by Bobby Odhiambo, and we are to have a look at different headlines or stories making headlines this morning on the newspaper review. But before we get into that, allow me have Bobby introduce himself to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sylvia. I'm Bobby Odhiambo, a student and a student leader in Kenyatta University. Yeah, and also a Kenyan citizen, a patriotic one.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so
much. I
much.
love it when we have young people coming, joining us and having discussions on the state of our nation. To set us off, it is something that not so much common for us to talk of right here on a newspaper review, because most of the time when we talk of the state of the nation, we're always talking of, ODM, UDA has done this, has done that.
Yeah,
but right now, we are now talking of geopolitics, where our discussion is not just centered on Kenyan politics, but centered on international politics, how this is shaping our nation politically and, of course, economically. To set us off, I want us to begin with the Daily Nation, where they're talking of why Ruto took sides on Iran war. There are several stories, or there are several factors that just have one center on this war between Iran and Israel. And of course, this is in relation to the US supporting Israel in making attacks on Iran. And something that is critical, let's first begin with the geopolitics before we get into the economic aspect of it. President William Ruto earlier, that was I think on Sunday, was it on Sunday or on Monday yesterday?
Yes,
he said that the country, he criticized the attack on Iran. He didn't specifically mention that the attack is on Iran, but he criticized what he said is attacks on foreign nations. Yes. And I bet this was talking of Iran. And for that moment, that was on Sunday, we thought that, okay, the president is taking sides. The president is taking sides on, he's taking the Iranian side. And someone could probably link this to the current talks that are ongoing, because in the recent past, Kenya has had different relations or different MOUs and partnerships with the countries in the Middle East, whether it's in country to country, nation to nation, oil deals with these countries, whether it is in business. And recently we have this tea deal that is currently ongoing. So someone might have said that, the president is taking the Iranian side, considering all these partnerships that are ongoing. But as it progresses, yesterday we had a different view where one of leaders in government was saying that Kenya is not taking sides per se, but it is just making a statement that we are not taking sides. We are just trying to ensure that these wars do not proceed. We're just trying to ensure that there is, international peace, because as the US attacks, Israel attacks, Iran is also attacking military bases that the US military bases, and one of them was the Gulf, which was attacked in retaliation to the Saturday attack. So, Bobby, from where you sit, this is something that we can really not come away from. As a country, what do you think is the right position that we should be taking at this point in this crisis that we are in globally?
Okay, thank you. I think this is not the time when we should be, as a country, taking side or supporting a specific group in relation that our economy, the military budget, we cannot compare ourselves with those developed countries. But you also know that Kenya depend on these two factions in a different ways. We also depend on the US, on some support, military, health, and so on and so forth. We also depend on. We also look forward for the countries, Egypt, the Iran, where we can export our products such as tea products. So I don't think if it will be something good or wise for Kenya to take a side in this war, because after all we will be affected. Yeah, we will be affected in one way or the other.
So from where you sit, the president saying that, the president making a statement that Kenya is strongly condemning strikes on UAE, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and all those countries. You see, that is not the right step for the president to be taking. So what should he be doing? Should he be silent, or what should he be doing?
Okay, I think the president's sentiments have been misconstrued. Yeah, actually, is it the PS or the what for security clarified that Kenya is not taking side. Actually, what is trying to, foreign affairs. Actually, what is trying to do is trying is means possible to maybe quell the situation. Yeah, I don't think if it's.
In your own words, yes. How do you think this current war is going to be affecting geopolitics and the economic stability of the entire world?
Yeah, that is a very great and a serious. It will have a serious effect on countries, more so African countries, because we depend on these countries so much. For example, when we talk about the one which will be affected so much is on oil produce. You know that if these countries continue to fight or to engage in this fight, the war, actually we are being affected. You know that just in the last, if this war continue for around a week, we expect a 15 to 30% increase in the price of oil, actually, and the implication on that on various issues, like the transport will hike automatically, and also manufacturing industry will have to be so much costly. On the thermal power generation will be costly, something like that, and that will be felt by the local mwananchi. So it is not, we cannot just see it the way we are just seeing it is. It is a war that involves different countries. We are also being affected economically. Yeah, and you just know when the transport hike, it affects very many things. Yeah.
If I look at statistics, Iran is ranked among Kenya's top 10 export destination, purchasing 13 million kilograms worth of 4.26 billion in 2024. That is according to the data from the Tea Board of Kenya.
Yeah,
that is just one of the sectors that Iran is taking, or the support, the business support, the economic support that is bestowed onto Kenya with the partnerships with the Iranian government. But at the same time, we have the United States, despite the fact that of late we've had several withdrawals, especially from the health sector, which is the one that has really been affected following the, the United States first under the Trump's government. But is it really prudent to be, let me not say picking side or being silent on that? Because I believe Nairobi initially, or Kenya, has been seen as mediator, especially in the African region, between different states, in conflicts, as a trade destination and all that. When this continues, I'm seeing a possibility of a failure of the government to collect enough revenue. For that matter, we've also had the government recently getting its external loans from the eastern side, of the globe, previously from what we had seen before. So with this, does it mean that if this continues and Kenya keeps condemning the United States or keeps condemning Israel, is it going to get this goodies from us, let me call it that, and get us to a tougher situation economically? Because currently it is perceived that there is a superpower war where the countries, the Arabs, the eastern side of the globe is fighting to overthrow the United States out of power. So do you think this is just a supremacy war to maintain, strength as a superpower for that matter? That is for what the United States is currently doing.
Okay, according to me, I can say it is something of such, because when you see these people, the Israel being supported by US in fighting Iran, and you also know this also invoke the spirit of other countries, something like that. Also they would wish also to join the war so that they can measure their strength with the US. The target I think here is the US, because US has been enjoying that superpower thing. Yeah, so I think this war, if it continues, it can lead even to a serious world war, which consequently will affect most of African countries, or the growing countries in Africa.
All right. I would let's now take a look at the economic side of it.
Yes.
Because currently, despite the fact that that has not been disclosed fully, we've had JKIA having different airlines getting into the country as the flights are rerouted, and this is something that has also affected the transport sector, because in as much as you've also mentioned that there is hike in fuel prices, there is also the issue of stalemate of transport, or stagnation of transportation. How do you think this is going to be affecting our economy, not just as a country, but as a globe?
Yeah, I think what is happening now, you know that now people fear for their lives, and many people are taking refuge in the airport, something like that, and that actually brings a lot of that fear in people in East Africa. JKI is being used by different countries in Eastern Africa. I think that really affects us economically. Yeah.
All right. Now we are also joined by Ojwang Mariam, will also be weighing in on this geopolitics. That is, who is also joining us to help us understand more on the geopolitics that is currently shaped by the Iran-United States war. Before you joined us, we were just talking of how this is affecting in this state where there's fight for leadership, you know, the superpower narrative where we have different countries wanting to be on top of the world. And of course, we've had different talks of peace that were ongoing. But from what we saw, this was like a calculated risk or a calculated attack, because we also had the leader of Iran, who was among the fatalities of the tragedy. So it was like a calculated risk. Do you think this is something that is a superpower kind of fight, or this is just something to, you know, to make a point?
There are a number of things that stand out when we talk about the US-Israeli-Iran war. And superpower, or US wanting to show dominance as a superpower, is one of them. You've heard of what happened in Venezuela and the president being arrested in his own country. We've heard also unconfirmed rumors of Cuba, that there will be attacks. All these are plans for the United States to show dominance, to show that they're still a superpower. But there are other things that are in this war that we should not overlook. One, the Iran has been ruled now by two ayatollahs. The first ayatollah taking in between 1979 to 1989, when Ayatollah Ali Hussein Khamenei now took over. And since he took over in 1989, Iran has been an Islamic republic, and people have been talking about Iran being a secular country. You've heard that there are two factions of people in Iran. There are those who are celebrating the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and there are those who are mourning, and we are going to have 40 days of mourning. But there are those who are celebrating, saying it is a time now for Iran to be a democratic country where you can vie as a president without a certain regime taking over all this while and making sure that they are not giving you your civic rights, they are not showing up in their civic duties and such matters. When it comes to matters economy, you will note that Iran is seated at a hallway. The whole of UAE is a hallway whereby people can converge. It's like a city. You're going to Japan, China, you can go through UAE. You want to travel goods, including oil, to the Far East or Far West, you have to have this belt of the UAE, where Iran is one of the largest countries, followed by countries like Saudi Arabia. These two states are Islamic state religions, and they want also to show dominance of religion, that we are still dominant here. Remember, UAE still have countries like Israel who are not Islamic states, who practice Judaism and such kind of religions, including Christianity. And there has been this force. This force has been heightened by what we call now associations. You saw yesterday President Ruto of Kenya issuing what we would call his statement, saying that it was not good for Iran to attack the UAE countries like Qatar, Bahrain, and such places. This meant that he's taking a side, that if for him not directly mentioning Iran also means that he's still fighting Iran, showing that I'm in the side of US, Israeli. You will see other countries, mostly Islamic countries, now supporting Iran and what is happening in Iran. For the longest, Israel has been fought because of their wars with Palestine. Palestine has always been supported by Iran, and such scenarios, when they come into board, they go way beyond USA seeing themselves as a superpower. We are talking about the same Iran has been developing nuclear weapons that the US and Israeli do not want that to happen. It is the same thing that happened with Kim Jong-un in North Korea, and they are saying, no, we cannot have another country now trying to show us that they have nuclear power and certain things. We are going to feel this war ourselves as a country here, because in Uganda they are talking about 13%. Oil prices have surged by 13%. The increment could increase as the war escalates in Iran. We should be concerned just like we are, but we should also be prepared to know how can we foster peace, how can we add more peace talks rather than anti-war or anti-fight talks.
Now, looking at what Foreign Affairs PS Korir Sing'oei said yesterday, that Kenya is not picking sides, that Kenya is just calling out wars that are causing instability in different parts of the world. Now, my question would be, now that we've seen, like you mentioned, you're saying that President William Ruto is picking a side, but we've seen that Kenya has really shifted its business focus towards the Middle East, the eastern side of the globe. And this is through various partnerships, deals, oil deals, and all that, the tea export partnership that is currently ongoing. Where does this put Kenya economically?
We are between a rock and a hard place. Do you know why? The Business Daily is talking about the 5.6 billion deal that has been stalled owing to the US-Israeli-Iran war. It is our deal with Iran. It is our deal with the UAE countries, meaning we are there. We are directly involved. But it's a fallacy when the president is not taking side and is still calling out on war. Yet, in our own neighboring countries like South Sudan, we have rumors of him supporting war through the RSF. We have been having our people in DRC who are suffering. We have not had our president condemning all this. We've had cases in Haiti where instead of condemning, our own police officers have been taken there even after barbecue warning us that we will be butchered, and we were severely butchered. To date, a lot of families don't know where their kins are. We are lying to our people. President Ruto is lying to us. They are taking a side and they are weighing in to know where do they benefit more. If US says right, they will go right. And they're looking to know who else is supporting Iran now that we have BRICS talks, now that the Russians are climbing up the ladder of success, now that the Chinese are aligning themselves. They are weighing in their options so that they can know truly where they lie.
All right, now let's move a little bit out of geopolitics, and this is still geopolitics, but I'll come to you, Bobby. According to this report from Atta Brothers to Sudan's RSF immigration boss in passport saga, Ms. Evelyn Cheluget, the Director General of Immigration Services, by virtue of a post, faces scrutiny after reports that a Sudan paramilitary leader was given a Kenyan passport. The case rekindles her past role in the issuance of work permits to notorious Armenian brothers. Yeah, so this is a story that really sparked outrage in the previous week, where we have the brother of the RSF leader who was given passport, and we had politicians really talking about it in their rallies, and specifically when they were in Kisii, and what they were likening it to they were saying that currently the country, for you to get a passport in the country, it's going to take you centuries, and you're going to be asked for bribe here and there, ukiingia pale Nyayo House. But apparently for those foreigners who are in the country, and of course who are also putting the country's name at risk, they have ease getting passports. So I don't know if it's just about the money or about power, but my real question is not just about the issuance of passports and business permits to people who are sanctioned for malicious acts, for acts against humanity. My question is, why do these keep happening when we all know the strength of our passports as a country, not just in allowing you to travel? It allows you to open bank accounts. It allows you to make transfers. It allows you, to do all these different things just by having a passport. Why do we keep allowing this to happen to us or why do our leaders keep allowing this to happen to us?
Okay, I think what's happening in Kenya actually, it's a form of corruption, because when it's being said that if you have money, everything is possible. So this is what actually is affecting, and it is really derailing us. You get somebody, if he has money, he or she has money, he can acquire all those things, whether he use the back door or a legal channel. But you as a local or a citizen of Kenya by virtue of birth, and you're not so much well endowed with the capital, you will have to follow all these legal frameworks, all these legal routes for you to acquire that passport. But somebody from foreign, somebody who is even not known so much, coming here because he has money, he will just knock all those doors and then acquire that, and that's really putting at us a risk actually. It can even lead to bad or nefarious acts like terrorism and all those things. I think it is high time that we should follow the law actually. We should deal with the big fish the way we are dealing with the small fish. Yeah.
Dealing with the big fish the way you're dealing. Someone told me yesterday that the only way corruption is not bad, and the corruption is only bad if you're not part of it. Otherwise, corruption is a very sweet thing. Let me get your sentiments on the same, Ojwang, on the issue of putting our passport or the security and threatening peace and stability of our region.
It's a very sad affair in our country. I know there are two brothers. I read them so much in the news, in the dailies. I heard so much about them. They were twins, Artur Magarian and Artur Sagarsian. They came into this country and they terrorized the diplomatic state. They went to communications. They were involved when the standard was being invaded by the then government of President Kibaki. And they were here illegally. After all that, they stole and went. Now, the younger brother of the guy we call Hamed Dior Hamdan Galgalo is named Galgalo Musa. This young man has been issued warrant of arrest by the European Union and the United States of America. They want them, but they have passports. If you go to Kenyan streets right now and do your own data analysis, just asking the number of youths that you will meet randomly, do you have a passport? They will tell you no, over 60%. And most of others will tell you that they are in the pipeline. Either they are seeking for cash to get a passport, or their passports have been halted in what we are calling public service sector of this country. Yet, when criminals come to our country with hefty costs in terms of corruption, they get their way in. Who can save these Kenyans? It is only themselves. It is only us. If the Constitution of Kenya, Article number 1, talks about the sovereignty of the people of this country, it means we need to have to be in the right mindset when we are voting, so that we don't overlook the sufferings that we've had in the past. Because right now we are suffering under President Ruto, whom has evolved in terms of nicknames from Zakayo to now Kasongo. We were being told of how he orchestrated the 2007-2008 post-election violence. We overlooked that. They talked about the maize scandals. We overlooked that. They talked about the incompetencies of when he was the Minister for Higher Education. We overlooked all that. When Kenyans are being given 500, which they nicknamed Jirongo, they go haywire. We need, for the very first time in 2027, we vote with our brains. And we can be able to do away with all these irregularities that we are seeing, which are affecting us directly. Manze, unapeaje wakora passport na sisi wenyewe hatuna? Hiyo ni haki kweli?
Haki is relative. Haki is relative. Now, let's move to a different newspaper. This is the Bold newspaper, The Standard. one of President William Ruto's plan is to transform the transport sector and the energy sector. And we've seen different changes in different sectors. Recently, we had the selling of 30% stake at KPC to different holders, the public, you know, the investors, the employees, that is in the energy sector. We've also had him championing last mile connectivity. We've had, you know, all these issues with energy. We've also had him championing connecting Kenya with the different highways, different roads. And if you look at MyGov, you'd see that there is a report that several contractors have been paid and money has been released. That is on MyGov today, talking of how contractors are back on site for that. And Ruto has promised several kilometers of transport or roads being built connecting different cities or different parts of the country, and expansions for that matter. We've also had him talk of, that was last week during the Open Golf Tournament. He was talking of his vision of transforming Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as one of his legacies, making Jomo Kenyatta a prestigious space that is efficient and allowing, you know, that international, it is international, but I don't know the international standard that he's talking about. Generally, the expansion of Jomo Kenyatta International Airports. So there were several footprints or blueprints that were released of the project, which will be implemented in 2 phases. The first involving construction of a new terminal capable of handling 10 million passengers annually, followed by a second phase expansion to accommodate 15 passengers. There is a redesign developed with global infrastructure consultancy. Sidara introduced an X-shaped terminal layout featuring 4 piers, a central processing hall, and critically, a second full-length runway to end JKI's risky dependence on its single fatigued 0624 runway. So that is the plan. But now, journalists Nekina Nani, they dug and found that, you know, this, hold on a minute. This blueprint inafanana na ile ya Adani. It's not different, ni kama ile ya Adani. So what analysts are arguing that the government is trying to find loopholes in the ruling that was made by the High Court. It's trying to find loopholes to ensure that there is no public participation in bringing up a new partner to develop the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And that's why they are bringing this headline that Adani plots come back months after losing first round in a 258 billion airport deal. And they're saying after months of unrelenting public outcry and following an indictment of Gutam Adani by the United States in a massive bribery and fraud scheme, President William Ruto in November 2024 dropped the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport deal like a hot potato. But as David Odongo writes, Kenyans have not seen the last of the man and the plan. So let me get your sentiments on this ambitious plan. Let me begin with them.
Okay, you know very well that 20 years master plan of Adani deal, which was supposed to cost around 238 billion, was terminated. Actually, the deal was so much publicized, and you saw what happened. People really cited involvement of corruption, and the court really stopped that, and President Ruto terminated the deal. And now you see they've baptized this as a public-private partnership. They're bringing it in another form again. And now when you read the Standard, they were saying that that Kenya is still lacking 260 billion to enter into a deal with other stakeholders who can actually continue with the deal which was terminated with the Adani. And the implication of this, you know very well that Adani was not only involved in the transport, but also it was also involved in the energy, which around 96 billion were used. So there is a possibility when this deal is terminated, Adani can still sue Kenya for the termination or the breach of contract. So that is why I think Kenya is trying so much to get into this, what they baptized as public-private partnership, so that they can still bring in Adani privately to continue with this deal, because the implications are so much severe on the Kenyan economy. And maybe to the government. And also on the other side, as at now, the opposition are really watching, because now we are in electioneering periods, and any deal that will involve a lot of money, a lot of spending, it's going to be used against the government. So the government must be careful on this, and they cannot publicize this thing. That's where you see they've come with this privatization. They want to do this thing privately.
So in your, from where you sit, this is just a cover-up.
Yes, it is a cover-up. They want to continue with it.
Let me get your sentiments.
I would call the framers of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 smart. It's like they were envisioning all these things somewhere. They were envisioning a time when people would come to this country glorified in a sweet name like Adani and take over our country. If the previous Adani JKIA deal had gone through, then we would have lost that airport for over 30 years. Over 30 years. I've lived barely under 35 years, and that life has been long. Now imagine over 30 years, Adani would be the owners of JKIA. But President Ruto talks of plans and visions. Plans and visions that Kenyans should ask, are they really his plans and visions or Adani's? Who is controlling President Ruto? Is it him or Adani? Because there seems to be a deal between President Ruto and Adani that has to yield. Even when Kenyans are saying we need to do away with Adani, just doing away, not about legalities or how legal their contracts are, doing away. During the other time when we were talking about JKIA deal, India was trying to sue Adani. Other countries were doing the same because of fraudulent cases. And Kenyans were fearing these guys are just like, they are Armenian brothers. We've heard of people like Kamlesh Patton. We've heard of their dupers. So the government, if it has goodwill, it should just follow the constitution. It is trying to do so. That is why they're looking for loopholes to still bring in Adani. What they don't know is time is elapsing and time is waiting for no man. We are in 2026. By 2027 August, we may have a new government. I've also heard youths out there talking about we may have an election before that. Others are talking, oh, we may not even have the president by then. Time is running out. As others are asking for power, others are saying we may not have Oburu. There are many things that may happen and may not happen before 2027.
Hatuwezi kaa bila power. All right, now that we are talking of power, let's take a look at what somebody was saying. I think that story is on the Daily Nation, where they're saying no more funds for IEBC. We know that IEBC had tabled a 61.7 billion budget to conduct the 2027 general elections. And Buddy is saying that, you know what, we have a strained budget. You should work with what we have. And the budget policy statement is already released. And we actually in the process of making the 2027 budget. Yeah. So if people are not keen, they may end up having outrageous budgets. And Mbadi is saying that the budget policy statement proposes allocation of 55 billion to IEBC, contrary to the 61.7 billion what had been proposed before. It's a take it or leave it thing, apparently, with the Mbadi. And Mbadi is saying that this shall be the Commission wants this to be funded in 3 batches, in the financial years in 3 batches. And also, according to IEBC, the budget stems from its intention to gazette 55,393 polling stations, up from 46,229 in 2022. And procure Kenya's integrated election management system kits worth 7 billion to replace some of those currently in use. Somebody is saying that, you know what, this budget is outrageous, but that's not even my concern. My problem is these elections are funded by taxpayers' money. They're supposed to be free and fair. But despite all these budgets, we still have never had a case where election just ended and we were like, oh, that one was a good job. We've always had kalatas, evidence for kalatas. You know, we've always had all these cases. So why? I'm yet to understand why this outrageous budget. Let me get your thoughts on this, Bobby.
Okay, you know, Kenya as a country is a very funny one. After all this money that we are spending, or the budget that is being given to the IBC to conduct a free, fair and credible election, we are not surprised that the results are those ones that are already known. So what I think is that this is a time whereby even our politicians or leaders should just take this upon themselves. They should just feel the pain of which our citizens are going through. Remember, these are citizens who are toiling and moiling, spending sleepless nights actually to work for the country, to pay taxes, and they're even waking up very early in the morning to elect or to install the leadership that they feel that they will protect or will hire or hear their grievances. But at the end of it all, what do they receive? A slap on the face. They are being given leaders to govern them, not the leaders that they elected. So I think it is a time we should follow the constitution to the letter. Let the elections be free and fair. At least for God's sake, these people should have pity on Kenyans. Kenyans are really crying of bad leadership. Yes.
Right.
I believe that we can have a very free and fair election if actually we really want best for our country. Yeah.
Now, Ojwang, I've heard in several occasions somebody saying that, you know, we don't have money for that. But then you hear him talking of money for some things and you're like, really? So we don't have money for this, but we have money for this.
Mbadi is a real African. I think he has been raised by those parents that typical Africans know, whereby we don't have sugar for you, but we have sugar for a visitor. We don't have meat for you, but we have chicken for the pastor. Mbadi is the same. Mbadi is the guy who was talking about how if he could have that seat of financiers, how this country would change, how Ruto is planless, how things are stalling because they don't have a plan, and they came in as experts. Him, as an expert of mathematics, went to handle our finances, and I'm telling you, nothing has changed since he came in, except the kind and weight of narratives that we get. At least nowadays, when we are being lied to in the media, we are being lied to by someone who knows numbers, someone who can at least answer a question asked by people like Ndende Nyoro. But behind those boardrooms, they are doing totally nothing to save the economy of this country. This budget, it goes to IEBC, but they still take it. For example, I don't know if you know that when we have a budget to construct a certain road, 60% goes to paying people. Only 40%, including NGCDF, goes to the actual work. So If IEBC in their own calculations have seen that Kenya needs 61 billion budget, you and I'm sure even Bobby knows that work can be done with 30 billion. That is why when now Mbadi goes to do his calculations, and because he's smart, does them right, and notifies loopholes where him and his people will get power, because power is money, then he will tell the IEBC, you need 55 million, guys. That we can give you. He now stops being our CS and he becomes a king. It's a give or take. Mchukue ama mkatae. Hatuna ingine sisi kama serikali. Unless Ruto waseme. Because there is someone who always has to tell them something. So when washa calculate yao washaipata, wanaambia IEBC chukueni 55. Hiyo 55 ikishafika IEBC bado haifanyagi hiyo kazi. I really believe if Kenyans want free and fair elections, it is not a money issue. Because even if we give every Kenyan 1,000 to go and vote, we need maximum 48 million to give each Kenyan. We will still not achieve free and fair election, because free and fair elections can only be guaranteed by us. They've talked so much about kulinda kura. Go vote. Get out of the voting, the polling station. They say 500 meters or 500 what? Go 500 meters. Stay there. Who will steal that election? Matiang'i said that he was able to ensure that high school students and their teachers don't steal KCSE in 2017. It was possible. If you can be able to control that kind of cheating, election ni kakitu kadogo sana. All we need to do is to be bold, or bolder than the IEBC. They've already banned that you cannot use a phone in a polling station. Why? And we will go live in 2027. You will stop them. It is only us who can guarantee ourselves free and fair election. Siri ni numbers, siri ni kutokea.
All right. I want us to move to something a little different. I'm looking for a way to connect the two newspapers, stories by Daniel and also by Dennis Kabara. Now, this is a story on devolution and the Vision 2030. The Vision 2030 stood on 4 pillars. I think it's the social, political, economic, and the fourth one, it's gone a little bit, but it stood on 4 pillars to ensure that Kenya is transformed into, I don't know if I should call it a first world country, because that will be politics. But then, let's just talk about the Vision 2030, what was envisioned by the then President Mwai Kibaki. We are, how many years to 2030? 4 years to 2030. Yeah. I don't know how far we've gotten to achieving that vision. And apparently the people who are in the planning of the Vision 2030, right now they're in government.
They're still there.
Yes, they're still
Some
there.
have retired, others are still there.
Yes.
And we have nothing.
Yes, so there is that, and there's also the issue of devolution. The Daily Nation, that is on page 15, they're saying let's make devolution work, and they're talking of the role of a governor should be to provide the necessary leadership and good governance. Devolution was among the things that later found its way in Vision 2030 after the promulgation of the Constitution. But is it really happening as we envisioned it? Because if you ask any person who is paid by the county government, they will tell you, hey, county natutesa. That's why we constantly have health providers on strike, because their function was devolved.
Yes.
It was also, the teachers were also, their function was also to be devolved. We don't want it. Teachers are rarely on streets, except kama unataka kuongeza mshahara ya JSS from 17,000 to some good amount, kwa pensionable, and to have their own union. But then all the functions that have been delegated to counties, they are having problems in surviving, and I don't know if that will get to the Vision 2030. We've had governors absconding their duties and failing to appear before the parliamentary committee, yes, on oversight, wakisema nyinyi mnatuitisha pesa nyingi sana kwa bribes and all that. So we are having, it's like a failed system. with this devolution, do you think we are going to get into the Vision 2030? Don't include these other narratives that we have, because we've moved from Vision 2030 to Serikali ya Vijana, to Hustler Nation, right now to Mama Mboga, and right now we're at the Singapore dream, and tunaenda Canaan tukipitia Singapore. So forget about that. Just, is devolution really leading us to the Vision 2030?
Not really. It has already failed. Labda tuweke vision maybe 2050 tuone itakuwaje. But Vision 2030, with this trajectory that we are on, actually it is so hard. You know that with the devolved system, whereby county were given also power to rule themselves through the governance, it has also led to what we call double corruption. Corruption is happening at the national level. Corruption is also happening at the county level. You know that 15% is being devolved to the county governments and of the national budget. So you get that when money reaches the governors and the governors, you get that these things like health services, they are at risk because there are a lot of bottlenecks or bureaucracies that are involved actually in financing all these things. Sometimes you hear governors are crying the delayed payments of their money, something like that. So these are really stagnating the process of us reaching the Vision 2030. Yeah.
All right, John, do you think devolution will lead us to Vision 2030?
Devolution is supposed to do that, and devolution is doing that. Devolution is even protecting itself using the Constitution of Kenya. Vision 2030 is a blueprint that each politician since then, back in 2002, has been riding on. Everything they talk about is connected to how we are achieving Vision 2030. Whether they want to make us a first world country, it was a vision in 2030. Whether they want to take us to Singapore, it's because they saw Singapore looks like what is happening in 2030. There are others who have been confused because they were going to Canaan. Baba left us around Jordan. We are just trying to cross, but they've decided, no, we should go to Singapore. It is all connected. They are trying to achieve what President Kibaki had as a grand plan. Now, devolution was supposed to ensure that since all politics is local, then you are getting that power. Imagine if we didn't have counties and we are having successes in counties like Murang'a and failures in counties like Nairobi. If we were all at the mercy of a national government led by a president, it means opposition-backed counties like Murang'a would be the same or worse like Nairobi. Because right now, Nairobi has even sacrificed. They keep saying that whenever you want to be a good leader, you should seek God first. I think Nairobi's Governor Johnson did not even try a bit kusakaja. All he thought about is, how can I be a leader? Once he became a leader, he was not able to actualize. He has given key functions. Now he has surrendered them to the national government. It was right where we were in 2022, when we had a general called Badi doing all this through NMS. And Sakaja said, no, I have the power as a county. We can do this as our own county. Then when he gets to power, we even experience inequalities, because MCAs who are pro-Sakaja, even them don't have actual development. They have money maybe to buy unga, to support people through the Sakaja Super Cup, so they are having jerseys, but not roads construction, drainage sorting, and such things. But we are having a Senate that is always asking these governors to step on their lane. They are there to protect devolution, because we need devolution if we want this country to change. At one point, a county may have a bad governor, but in one point, they will have a good governor who will actualize their dreams as a community. Right now, I felt so offended when the community of Kahawa West were telling me to step down in my bid to be Roysambu MP, because I believed being in national government could be superior than being in a county government. But it is the same thing. It is the same thing if we see that power belongs to the people. Where are you representing these people? If it is at the ward level, you can do the same representation an MP would do, and maybe be better. Because they keep saying that an MCA in Nairobi County is even powerful than a senator in Garissa.
All right. Let me leave it at that. Let me not add or reduce. But let's talk a little bit of politics as we wind up. On this is the Standard. They're saying Sifuna saying ODM Ruto Pact will send party straight to opposition. Exactly. And they're saying the party Secretary General Edwin Sifuna challenged party leader Buru Odinga's push. Open contradiction among the party leadership says lays bare a clear fault line. Just to mention, the acting Secretary General, Honorable Me, said that Sifuna has a chance of being at the party if he agrees with the party's politics. In as much as the party allows democracy, he should be following what the party says. But if I look at it really, the party, what the party says, is this just the thoughts of a few leaders who are supposed to say that? Do they do public participation and ask the members of the party that, you know, we want to do this, should we do this or should we not? Do they just sit down and decide that sisi tunataka power and now go for power, and now that is the party's decision? Do you think ODM still has democracy?
Okay, according to me, you will allow me to take sides on this. Actually, mimi niko hiyo side ya power. Tunataka power. Niko hiyo side ya tunataka power. Okay, I think what actually conspired was, Edwin Sifuna was the Secretary General of ODM party. And being a Secretary General means, Edwin Sifuna was being seen like somebody who is, the position he hold was the position of Secretary General, and the Secretary General is the spokesperson of the party. So what the ODM brigades expected him is to speak on behalf of the party, and the party are the members or the official members of the party. If he had to maybe talk about something or the stand of the party, he ought to have consult the likes of the Junet Mohammed, all those people who are maybe at the central committee, something like that. But what we saw was Sifuna like opposing the stand of the party official. So I think that's what led the party official to say that, oh, this person is the Secretary General, and what he always says is about opposing what we are pro. Okay, so that's why he was relieved the position of the Secretary General, so that he now have that free will to speak his mind. Now what he's doing is speaking his mind. My question as the is, Edwin Sifuna, not as the Secretary General.
My question is,
yes,
if ODM is a democratic party,
yes,
and you are saying that this is the position of the party has decided,
yes,
then that would mean that you'd have to go through all the leaders, ask their views, and perhaps also go to party members and ask of their views. But what you're saying right now is just a few leaders at the central committee deciding that tunataka power, and then all of you need to go by that. Is that really democracy?
Okay, I don't mean actually that. The ODM party, the official, or rather the stand of the party is being made by the party officials. But in that, it doesn't mean that you as a member of the party, you can't say your view. But you know, Edwin Sifuna was holding a position of the Secretary General. And you can bear me witness, every time he was speaking, it was about opposing the party stand. And this wrangle started still when Baba was still alive. You can remember that. And even sometimes Baba was telling Edwin Sifuna, we hapana kuwa chungu sana. So you see,
I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced
that
ODM is a democratic party.
It is.
Because if it was a democratic party, then it won't be a decision that is made by Oburu Odinga. I mean, there are people you can mention, literally.
Yes.
Oburu Odinga, the chairman of the party. We have Joho. We have Junet. Like, they are literally people you can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the people who have sat and decided. And if you look at the events leading to that decision, it's because of their proximity to power. So that compromises the idea of this is the party's position. I mean, they should just say this is the Central Committee's position, which we are saying that it should be the party's position. Anyway, let me get what Ojwang has to say.
Wanataka power. Guys, democracy is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. It allows room for majority to have their way and minority still to have their say. In this particular case, looks like even the majority don't have a say in ODM party. There is no problem with leaders controlling the party like you are asking a few people doing that. Actually, pre-Baba, ODM had a hydra. Mambo ya chungu kuongelea kwa chungu na ngumu sometimes. So there was a hydra led by Baba, Mama Ida, and Uncle Oburu. And then from there, the trickles down. Every party should have a party leader. The objective of a party is to support a party leader. When we don't have a party leader, we don't have a party. That is why we are supposed to have a party leader. If there was a party leader, we would not be talking about we are relieving Sifuna duties. How are you relieving someone who has been elected by the party through an NDC duties? If you want to do an impeachment has to go through an assembly where people have to vote you out. Then you replace him with someone who is not able to speak for the party, if we are talking about SG being a spokesperson. And then when the narrative gets hotter, because we said we are able to influence majority to have their way and minority to have their say, we don't have this minority, whom we are calling minority, to have their say. We forget the core values of the party. Right now, the ODM party has those two factions, and they're talking about Linda Ground and Linda Mwananchi. Who is Ground, who is Mwananchi in all these conversations? Who is actually leading Mkenya, who is giving ODM the power? When we are talking about all these things, then you find that this minority looks like they have more numbers. And you get to wonder, if ODM is numbers, even a DJ, they don't have a DJ at the moment, because the DJ has gone to what the party is calling minority. Then those who have been left as now ODM, they still feel they don't have power. So what are they saying? Tunataka power. Who is controlling the narrative? I've seen this. It's in all public. It is in public domain and all social media platforms that I've seen. Whereby in Migori County, you are seeing Junet is telling Oburu what to say, and then after telling him what to say, he tells him, tell them in the Luo. So who is the party leader there? Is it the minority whip or the senator who has been crowned as party leader? That is why we are hearing people saying, if power belongs to the people, then let's take up this party and continue it from where it started. I've heard Professor Anyango saying that ODM should stick to their core values. One of them is inclusivity. When we're talking about inclusivity and social justice, it means that ODM belongs to the streets. And that is why we are saying that if Kenyans don't want President Ruto in 2027, and they actualize that, then ODM will remain in opposition, where it has failed to be for 2 years now.
All right. Now, as I give food for the thought, I want you to take a look at the characters because we have less than 2 minutes. Take a look at the caricatures. The Daily Nation is on page 16, and on the Standard is on page 14. I'll get your views on the same, but as you look at that, this is just something to think of. If I normally believe that if the ODM party wanted to rule, it would rule. ODM, a person can only be considered strong if he holds office. Right now, we cannot vet Sifuna as a good leader because we've only seen him as an opposition.
Exactly.
We've never seen him take accountability. In all the interviews, he's always opposing the government.
But he's in government.
He's in government, yes.
He is an elected senator.
I'm talking of popularity in conversations. Like, for example, everyone knows defending government is a very hard task. So definitely, if you're going for an interview with someone who's supporting government and someone who's not supporting government, the person who is not supporting government will be seen as more superior with more points. And Kenyans go with propaganda, Kenyans go with emotions. And even opposing government.
Even those in UDA have not been able to defend the same government because they keep asking themselves, ni nini nzuri nitaongelelea leo? Unafika unakosa. Because unasema leo tenda kuongelelea SHA, manze SHA inawaka. Unafika hapo unapata gai. Sijui SHA imefanya nini hospitali gani, gai. Sijui landani washachukua ni yao. You don't get anything to defend. That's why even the ODM do not go to the media to defend Ruto. They go to the media to say they want power. They still feel they are in search of power. They've never felt at home. They keep saying baba alituacha hapa. So it's
all
hard
right.
to do that.
My director is telling me unatupa kisogo. But on the same, you said one leader will go and say that I'm going to say Shaina work. But you know what, the other leaders, the person who is going to say Shaina work will have to do research and all that. But do you know what someone who is in opposition will say? High work.
Just that.
Just that. So, and anasema hiyo kitu haifanyi. And you know that person will become popular, that the person who is giving facts. So in as much as we are saying that ODM is in the broad-based government and we are calling it bread-based government, I think it's high time that we allow them to be accountable by getting into real power. On the other side, the faction that is saying that we want to linda wananchi on the same, so that is just a food for the thought. My director is telling me time is not on our side. We will not take a look at the characters. I think we will just be ending it from there. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us this morning. I hope to have you once again with us here in studio. Thank you.